Before we start this podcast, I want to definitely remind you of a sponsor for Fresh of the Word, 20 by 20 Apparel. Founded in 2015, 20 by 20 Apparel brings original tributes to pro wrestling's classic arenas, moments, and events. They look to spotlight the bloopers, bleeps, and body slams along with the biggest, smallest, strangest, and strongest. In the world of wrestling where there's hundreds of shirts, promotions, flyers, social media accounts, and ads, don't get lost in the sea of parody shirts and display fonts. They can provide professional graphic design services at a reasonable price. 20 by 20 also hand screen prints all the tees in-house. So if you'd like to discuss a possible run of tees, posters, koozies, foam fingers, or even Zubaz, then drop them a line at 20by20apparel.com. That's the number 20x, the number 20apparel.com. And also check out their enamel pin line. It's super cool.
Fresh is the word.
I'm Jim Duggan, got long wood for plenty hoes. I keep it fresher than fresh, but you already know. You suckers bummy, I'm money, I got a ton of flows. My weed loud like a motherfucking thunder roll. Your shit quiet like you ballin' on a budget though. We see your kicks and we laugh and yellin' what it goes. You see me shining like a suit on puffy. You know my grind, this shit is too strong, buddy. That's why the dude call money. I be stuntin' like it's nothing at all. Cause it's nothing to me, it's probably something to y'all. Trying to smoke like me, then come and fuck with your dog. Got a closet full of kicks, you can't cop it tomorrow. And I'm fresher than the freshest, you can tell it's in my essence. Bitch, you see the way I'm rapping, yes I do this shit to death. I tell I'm running out of breath, I tell somebody cut a check. But either way you know it's fresh, and either way you know it's fresh. Fresh, we fresh. Fresh, 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 goddammit, we fresh. Fresh, fresh, goddammit, we so damn fresh.
Welcome to the Fresh of the Word podcast. I'm your host, Kelly K. Fresh Frazier, and like always, we have the freshest guests for this podcast, and I hope you are staying safe in the middle of this global pandemic known as the coronavirus, COVID-19, and that's it. Save your racist terms about this virus to yourself, clear it out of your memory, because you're being a piece of shit. Be safe, stay inside, wash your hands, pay attention to the guidelines. And if we bunker down, we'll be out of this in no time. Hopefully. But like I said, we always have the freshest guests on Fresh is the Word. And I have somebody on this episode that I've become friends with. And I love her to death. She is such a joy to talk to. She was a joy to talk to on this episode. It was a while back that we talked to her, I think back in December, but I finally getting around to releasing this episode, this interview, and it's with Juri, Jinnai, the woman behind the art pop doo-wop experimental project Emergency Tiara, who released her album Unsophisticated Circus last fall. She's Tokyo-born, lives in New York City. She's an artist all the way around. She has a cute dog. I love her Instagram. I love her visuals. A lot of bright colors. During this interview, we talked about the new album, Japanese culture, gender identity, her artistic upbringing, the visuals of her projects, touring with the Go-Go's Belinda Carlisle, her joy of reading books, and so much more. So, without further ado, let's get into my interview with my new friend, Juri Jinnai, who is also known as Emergency Tiara. I remember just, getting a press release from your publicist a while back, and it was just like when I first saw you, I'm like, yo, this woman looks interesting, let me check her out, man. Like, she looks like she's like my type of person. And I started listening to the new single, whatever single it was at that time, and I was just like, yo, I love her. I'm like, yeah, I gotta get her on the podcast, and like, it's been a little while, and we finally made it happen. I'm super psyched to talk with you. You just seem so interesting.
Oh my God! Now you putting the pressure on me. I hope I can tell you something interesting too.
Oh, I'm sure. You have a lot of interesting things to talk about. You look like a very interesting woman.
Thank you.
So you have your new album out under the moniker Emergency Tiara. You know, it's called
Yes,
Unsophisticated Circus. And
yes.
what, when I listen to it, and then read some of the descriptions about it and things that other people say, I see a reoccurring theme, and that's about being authentic and just trying to, bring that true self out, like what's your thoughts of just about, what you wanted to bring out with this album and with this moniker of Emergency Tiara?
Um, First of all, this album is, our debut album. So it's just like we put literally songs that represent different sides of Emergency Tiara. So when I say true self, I never really mean like one form of human being, right? Like we have emotions, we have moods, we have all sorts of things that make us different and unique, but also different and unique every day. We are not exactly the same person every day, I feel.
Yeah.
So I hope that my music shows a little bit of who I am in different ways, many different ways. And of course, in each song, I do have the message, as I explained. I really want people to be just, I want people to be more comfortable being who they truly are. And of course, I want the society to just make it easier for us. I think it just comes both ways. The world isn't necessarily made easy for certain people to be who they are without feeling like they're going to be judged or be hated. But at the end of the day, I'm like, by the way, can I curse on this podcast?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So, I feel like just fuck it. If people want to judge you, let them judge. I mean, and people want to hate you, let them hate you. They don't even know who you are. So they're judging you based on nothing, basically.
Yeah.
So just be you, and that way I think you meet more people who are obviously just who are not attracted to you in the most genuine sense.
Right. And it's like you were kind of saying that like every day you're kind of like a different person. And the problem that we have in our society and our culture is that, there's so many like, norms, societal norms that people try to put on you. And
exactly.
And as someone, and if someone just feels different on a daily basis, it's really kind of hard to swim those channels in life, when you just feel like you're going to be judged if you go, you're a little outside the box one day,
Exactly. And, I'm just being myself. This is the only way I know how to be. If I don't try to fit into what society expect me, how society want me to be. And yeah, so deal with it.
Right. And that's something that I've definitely struggled with during my, especially my adulthood, was just feeling all these different versions of me, and they would just, one day it might be one way, one day it might be the other. But I feel like now I'm starting to understand it more. Cause right now, I'm like in the middle of, coming out as queer, and also like non-binary gender identity. And and I'm someone who like still still prefers to date women, but like I feel like both from a a sexual identity standpoint and a gender identity standpoint, like things change on a regular basis with me. It's like a it's like a wave. It's like so like
Yeah,
I'm a different person depending on when you see me, sometimes my male energies are high, sometimes my like female energies are high. So it just like
absolutely.
it's really freeing when you can finally like be comfortable enough to sort of ride that wave.
Absolutely. And this world also loves to put label on you.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's beautiful that you change daily, and some days you feel this way, some days you feel the other way. And yeah, because we are also who we are by nature of being who we are, but also reflection of other people that you have around.
Yes.
So I feel definitely a little bit more like how do you call it, like a sassy and like flirty when I'm just hanging out with my gay husbands because the energy is just so contagious and just also feel like I can be the way I want to be around them rather than like, oh no, this is not who I am.
Oh yeah. And that's what
So,
made things easier for me is that I finally got around a group of friends, had a stronger, friend base that made me more comfortable to explore these parts of me that I was scared to explore before. And
right.
everybody's cool with it. I've told all my close friends, and it's made it a lot easier than like sort of the friendships that I had before. So yeah, like being around, the people that you have around you can definitely help with, where you want to, explore those energies.
Definitely. And yeah, and you only need those people if you put out who you genuinely, authentically are, and they'll be attracted to you and come to your life.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it feels good these days,
So
and
good.
and now I get to talk to awesome people like you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
So
You're amazing yourself.
thank you, thank you, thank you. So, you know, kind of let's kind of go back a little bit. I see that you were born in Tokyo, and I see like that you had there's certain things about the Japanese culture that really kind of lent itself to what you're doing these days. What was like growing up in Japan like, and how did that sort of make you the woman that you are right now?
Um, it's been, how do I say? So I always felt a bit of out of place when I was in Japan. Culturally, there's a little bit more misogynistic tendencies over there than New York.
Right.
And women don't speak up their minds so much. And there's also a really strong sense of what women should be. And I never agreed with it. it was it was an interesting part of my life that I think I fit in okay, but I felt like a little claustrophobic being in Japan.
Yeah.
That I feel like a trapped in one. The imagery that doesn't that's not quite myself. But it made my life easier because I blend in. So that was, I guess, the struggle side of um, the time when I was in Japan, but also, it's a beautiful culture. As I think many people know, it's a very respectful culture who is filled with the people who are actually super mindful and considerate to others. So it's like a weird, like ironic thing because people are very considerate to others. Therefore, they push the idea of what's good for the others, and that's kind of making the other person's life harder, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's again, it was I learned. I guess I didn't realize any of those things until I moved to the States, and then I had something to compare with to actually realize the beauty and the struggle of being in Japan and growing up in Japan. But did I answer the question?
Oh yeah. Did you feel less claustrophobic when you moved to the States?
Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't say like overall state, but like Boston, New York are the two cities I have lived in, and I feel I can be just myself, and either no one cares or
Right.
people don't judge me the way people did in Japan. So,
What do you feel like you were being judged about back in Japan?
well, first of all, I speak my mind, which is not so welcomed quality, especially being a woman.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But I can't keep my mouth shut. When I have something I want to say, I say it.
Yeah. You seem like somebody that would be that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I try not to be rude, but I still want to just communicate and I want to express. And I'm okay if the other person disagrees, but I don't think I even got to the point where, as I was growing up, it's like just the fact that I'm expressing my thoughts in a very open way. People are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not cool. Or like, how I dress is, now I have a buzzed pink hair. And that's not quite a norm. So just because I have buzzed pink hair, people just assume I'm a little crazy.
When did you first start getting like the bug, the interest to do music?
My whole life, I've been singing since I was very little. My mom said I started to sing even before I started to talk. So, and yeah, my whole life.
Yeah, instead of crying, you were just singing. You had your cries were in pitch.
Exactly. I was singing since I was little. I was making my brother learn this like a quote unquote choreography that I came up with, and made him practice it with me so that we could showcase it to our parents and grandparents.
And then I see that you went to Berklee College of Music. You're classically trained in voice and piano. Why did you go that route?
Route, like, the school or the state? The state.
Yeah, well, what was your interest in going to school at Berklee, and then, what was your interest in, being trained in, voice and piano,
So initially I moved to the States because my mom wanted to live abroad when she was at younger age, but my grandmother, her mother, wouldn't let her do it. So my mom suggested for me to move abroad, and she was like, if you do it, you can go to any school you want. I'll support you to go to school. So I was like, oh, then I'm going to study music. So it's like, I didn't really like, oh, I'm going to go abroad and study music. But I always did and do love, going to school, honing my skill, just working on my craft. I definitely do believe in education, schools, and my case is that since I had this great opportunity to work on my voice, I was also a songwriting major at Berkeley, that I think just more you work on your skills and tools and craft, more freedom you get when you are actually to express what's on your mind.
Yeah.
There's like a less block thing between you and the outcome, I think.
Yeah. With this Emergency Tiara project, you have this very much, doo-wop sound with it. And then you have the visuals to go with it. You have a very 60s fashion style, and all your, visuals, the pictures and the videos and everything all look, fantastic. What was sort
Thank
of
you.
like, well, yeah, you're welcome. What was sort of like the process, the ideas, going through creating this project?
Well, I think this project definitely evolved over this past 7 years of doing it. I didn't really have any the idea of this brand when I started it, except the fact that I'm just gonna make it as authentic as possible to who I am.
Right.
So it's been a journey of also self-discovery and figuring out the best ways to express myself.
So you're just like, hey, these are the things I like. Let's try them out and see what sticks.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I just threw everything I like. I'm like, let's make it work.
Was there anything that you learned about yourself during that process?
Oh my God, so much. I thought I was a little bit more reserved person. Very wrong. I am way sassier than I thought. I have so much opinion than I thought. And yeah, there are some things that I think I kind of had a feeling that was part of me. But for instance, I am super curious about just people, period. I just want to know about people, and that fascination just became more surface, that when people are being mean to you, instead of I take it personally and get offended, I'm just curious. I'm like, what makes this person act this way? So those a little human psychology interest definitely came more to the surface of who I am throughout this ET project.
Being someone who grew up in Japan, feeling claustrophobic, what does this project, bring out of you?
Freedom. It's nice that it's because it's my own project, so it's my responsibility that if I do well or if I fuck up, no one can judge me. It's my world. So I can just be really fully, truly myself and don't feel limited by other people is, I think, the biggest thing that came out from this project for me. And, I met amazing group of people throughout this project. And I think the connection that I feel with them is very genuine because what I'm putting out is very genuine.
Yeah, that's such a great thing when you're finally, feel comfortable in yourself and you find that freedom to be more of yourself. It attracts the people the type of people that you want in your life.
Yes, and I'm so happy to have the people that I have in my life.
How long have you been doing this Emergency Tiara project?
I started about 7 years ago, just me, and I had been writing with my co-writer, Carrie, who is based in UK. She's from Malta.
Okay.
And I met my producer, Dave Cole. He's also my drummer and also the MD of the band 7 years ago. And just since then, we've been working on this music together, finding our sound. So yeah, very good 7 years.
When did you realize that this project, might have some legs and might, be something that you could do for a little while?
I don't know if I still realize that. I'm just, doing baby steps every day and see where it goes.
I see that you were on tour with the Go-Go's, Go-Go's Belinda Carlisle. How was that tour?
I was living my dream. It was so amazing. It's just one of the most legit thing that we did that felt like, wow, this is how it feels like to be a professional musician. And before the tour, so many people told me a horror story of being an opener on tour. You might not be treated well, you might not have any sound check, you might not have a green room, so that you might have to change in the bathroom, all those little stories.
Yeah.
But tour with Belinda was nothing like that. She is probably one of the nicest people I have ever met in the most genuine sense. She is super kind, she's very caring, and the team only becomes and as good as its leader, and her team is also fantastic. Her team, management, her band, everyone was so kind to us and super caring and super welcoming, and building us. So it was just an amazing 4 weeks to be able to travel through the UK and Ireland and to get to know Belinda and her people. It was just, I don't know, I can't think of words to express how happy and grateful I am with that experience.
Was there anything that you learned on that tour that you'd be able to, sort of use on your own project?
Well, I mean, so many things. There's only so little distance between me and the project, so maybe it might sound more like just apply to myself.
Yeah.
But how Belinda was and is to the people around her. And she's a legend. She's a legendary singer from, one of the biggest female bands ever. And still she's just like so kind and respectful to others, and including to us. And we are, we're nobody. But it's a life lesson that I want to be like her when I grow up.
Outside of the music that you do, what do you do just to have fun, or what's some of your personal interests?
Wow, it's music. I love what I do with Emergency Tiara. So it's really hard for me not to do Emergency Tiara when I'm not touring. Like, I'm thinking about what I can do next, or what kind of song I can write, or what kind of outfit we can wear. That's one of my favorite things to do. But I think main thing that I love is to read a book.
Okay.
I love it. Yeah. Very basic, but...
What kind of books do you like? What's something you've read recently?
Well, that's my only moment in my recent life that I have connection with my Japanese culture, and I often read Japanese books. And my favorite author is Haruki Murakami.
Okay.
Many of his books have been translated in English, and actually many of my friends here also said that they love Haruki Murakami books. So I read his books like repeatedly. Some of the books I read like 20 times.
Nice.
Yeah.
If there was something from your life or career, that anybody listening to this interview could sort of project into their own life, sort of a lesson or a nugget of knowledge, what would that be?
Wow. I feel so humble. Like, I don't know if I'm in the place to be able to give lessons, but just be kind. Be kind to people. Even the people that you never met, kind. And, again, it just sounds so basic, but it's basic for reasons, I think. It's just kindness means, I think, more than actually feel sometimes. Like, when you receive the kindness, I think has maybe more meanings than actually you're putting out the kindness. And being kind is easy, so let's do that.
Definitely. So, what's next for you and the Emergency Tiara project? Anything that you got coming up?
We have another single coming up in December. We don't have the exact date yet, but that's coming out. We have music video coming out. We have a few more shows this year. We are doing some shows, which I'm very excited about. We get to do a lot of Christmas. I love holidays. It's sparkly and good. And then, next year we're just gonna keep doing what we do, like a tours, US, UK. Hopefully we can release a bunch more music and just meet more people.
Right.
It's fun.
Yeah, I hope you do a U.S. tour and come somewhere near Detroit, Michigan, where I'm at.
That'd be amazing, yes.
Yeah, I would love to see you perform, and I would love to meet you.
Oh, my God, I'd love to meet you.
To kind of, close things out, I always like, asking this question. I don't, ask it in every interview, but, when there's cool people like you, I definitely like to ask it. Who is somebody that somebody maybe from your life or career that I could, that you would suggest for this podcast that I could realistically, get on the podcast to interview, that would have some great stories to talk about?
Of course, I can't think of so many people. I've been very lucky. I have so many great people in my life. But these two boys, they're a couple. I hope you can figure out the time difference, but they live in Japan. They both models.
Okay.
And DJ. One is from Korea, one is from Japan. And they are one of the most positive energies to have around. And although, I'm sure they have gone through a lot, being gay in Japan in Korea is not the easiest thing just yet, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But they've been really open about it. And I know so many people have been encouraged by them for them being who they are, regardless of what some people might say.
Okay.
So Taiki and Noah are their names, and they're wonderful.
How do you spell that?
Taiki is Taiki.
Wait, Taiky?
Ki.
Okay, I.
And Noah is Noah, Noah. And Noah speaks fluent English and maybe German. So if you were to interview him in German, he can also do that.
All right. Yeah, it's been great to talk with you. A lot of great stories. You're just a joy to talk to. So thank you for taking the time out to talk with me.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope there was something that you and some people can take it with them. And
oh, no problem.
Useful.
And before we get out of here, where can people go online to get more information about you, Emergency Tiara, and everything that you're up to?
I think the best way is our Instagram at Emergency Tiara, all one word.
Hey, yo, thank you for listening to this episode of Fresh is the Word, hosted and produced by myself, Kelly K. Fresh Frazier, empowered by Anchor at anchor.fm/Fresh is the Word. Intro theme music by Foulmouth, Shimmy Bango, and Knox Money. Fresh is the Word is available on all major streaming platforms. Please rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. If you want to support Fresh is the Word, please consider pledging via Patreon at patreon.com/Fresh is the Word. Follow Fresh is the Word on social media on Twitter at Fresh is the Pod, on Instagram at Fresh is the Word Podcast, and join the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Fresh is the Word. For more information about Fresh is the Word and our other podcasts, Breaking Records and Renaissance Soul, and a collection of pop culture articles and reviews, please visit freshasthepodcast.com. Thank you for listening and your support. Goodbye and good night.
Fresh is the word.